Hello, Geneva. I'm Mayor Kevin Burns, and this is an edition of Business Beat. I'm at the olive mill, the iconic olive mill, with the owner, Ed. Ed, thanks for having us.
Thank you. Thanks for coming.
We're at the corner of James and 3rd, and you've been here, it
12
seems
years.
like forever.
12 years.
Unbelievable.
Yep.
Unbelievable. And, I know you well enough to know that you do other things in life, too.
A few things.
Well, what inspired you to open this?
To tell you the truth, it's my wife's idea.
Ah!
We were out in Napa Valley, California, doing the wine tasting thing, and some of the places, the vineyards out there, were tearing out their vines and putting in olive trees,
wow.
and they were tasting their olives out there. The olive oil that they were producing out there.
Sure.
And my wife got the brainy idea, let's bring the thing back to the Midwest. And I thought it was a crazy idea, but we went with it, and it's worked great. So we've been here, like I said, we've been here for 12 years, and we're doing great. So we're having fun with it.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, you're obviously, this corner is known as the olive mill corner.
Oh, really? I didn't know.
Some would argue it's off the beaten path, but it's a perfect location.
No, I think we're more popular than the post office.
Oh, heck yeah. I think you're right. It's a great place to watch all the festivals take place.
They're all right here.
It's amazing. It's amazing. So I know you're going to give us a great tour inside.
Yes, we will.
Ed's going to teach us a little bit about olive oil, what to look for, what to avoid, how to sample, how to taste, and all that good stuff.
Yep.
This will be very sophisticated, folks. So let's hop into the olive mill and learn from our friend Ed. We are now inside the olive mill. So exciting.
I think so.
And as an unsophisticated gentleman, I'm just looking at urns of stuff. What can you tell me and the viewing audience? What am I actually experiencing?
Okay. What we have here is about 20 different balsamic vinegars and about 20 different olive oils. And we store them in these fusties, which is these urns, as Kevin calls them.
What are they called again?
Fusties.
Fusties.
We import them from Italy, and they're made just for this reason.
Huh.
And so we have olive oils from all over the world. We get them from Greece, Italy, a lot of them from California,
Wow.
some from Portugal. We have had them, and it's from Argentina. We try to go to the southern hemisphere and the northern hemisphere to keep you the freshest oils.
Interesting.
I try not to go a whole lot of Italian oils just because it's hard to get good Italian oil in this country. They keep the good stuff for themselves, and they're known for tainting their oil a little bit. So I try to be very careful where I source it from. And we source it straight from the farmer the best we can. We try to keep that link between us and the farmer as short as possible. Everybody's watched The Godfather. You know what happens between olive oil. Between the grove and the producer. So we try to keep it as close to the farmer as we can. So make sure we've got
It's not unlike the coffee.
extra virgin.
That relationship with the farmer is key.
It is. It really is.
That's interesting.
Because a lot of people adulterate the oil. They add other vegetable oils into it. Because olive oil is very, very expensive to produce. You don't get very much oil out of each little olive. So they like to blend it with other oils to make because it's all about the money. So we're very careful where we buy from. The farmers that we get from in California, I've actually been out to the farms. We visit them. We've been out there during the crush, which is coming up in about 2 months. It's a fun time to go out there and watch them produce the olive oil.
During the crush, so they're actually not with feed, of course.
No, they have a big machine now that does
You
it.
tell how old I am?
Yes. So there's 4 different grades of olive oil. Extra virgin olive oil, which is what you want. It's the stuff that's the very first stuff is when they actually crush the olives and they just press it and what comes off first is called first press. And then from there they'll take that pulp and they'll continue to process it and they'll add heat to it, to get you more yield, or they'll add put chemicals in it to extract more oil. And so that's when you start getting your virgin olive oil, your pure olive oil, and your pumice oil. That's the 4 grades of olive oil. Extra virgin, virgin, pure, and pumice. And there's if you go to the grocery store, you got extra light or extra or ultra pure. All those are marketing plays. I mean, there's 4. The International Olive Oil Council has 4 grades of olive oil.
Hold on. There's an International Olive Oil Council.
Yes, there is.
Are you a member of the board?
Not the board.
But you're a member of?
No, I'm not.
You're not.
But I buy from. Make sure the people I buy from are.
So that's the Good Housekeeping seal.
That's the Good Housekeeping seal.
Okay.
Yes. So there's a lot of other, like I say, marketing employees with other names, but there's only 4 names. If you get anything other than those 4 names, somebody's pulling a marketing scam. It's strictly that simple.
Wow.
The other thing about olive oil, just like I'm going to use the analogy of an apple. There's a lot of different varietal of apples, and Jonathan tastes different than a Macintosh.
Mm-hmm.
Olives are the same way.
Okay.
And all of our oils are single varietal oils. Where a classic Spanish varietal is an Arbequina. So we have Arbequina oil here. Because each country is kind of
I'm trying to
known.
remember the word Fustus and Arbequina.
There you go.
Keep going.
You're getting there. You're getting more. You're going to be Texas
It's
at the end.
exciting. It's like the ACT.
That's right. Oh, don't bring back those flashbacks.
No, I know. We can talk off camera.
An Arbequina oil was a classic Spanish varietal oil. They have brought those Arbequina trees over to California, and they produced Arbequina oil here in the United States, or they produce them in Argentina or wherever. So they can produce that varietal elsewhere, but it still has a very similar flavor to what it had just because of the varietal of the tree, the tree that they're using. But it's like with the wine, the terroir does make a little bit of a difference to it. Yeah. So
That's too wide.
the ground,
Got
the
it.
dirt,
Thank you. Again,
the soil, the minerals in the soil.
I was going to ask that question. So you have the tree. Who cares? The soil is also critical.
It also plays into it, and the weather of that particular year. Just like with the wine, that same tree will produce slightly different oil from year to year because of the amount of rain, the amount of sun.
Okay.
It parallels the wine industry very, very closely.
Interesting.
The only thing different about it is olive oil is the best when it's fresh, where wine ages.
Got it. Well, that's easier.
It increases with age, can increase with age, not always. Olive oil never increases with age. You want it as fresh as you can get it. But due to the time of the year, I'm limited in how fresh I can get you because it's a crop. I can only bring it in once a year. And that's why we rotate between southern hemisphere and northern hemisphere. That way we get oils from, get it for a little bit fresher that way.
Interesting.
So back to the varietals, there's another, like a classic Greek varietals, either a Korniki or a Kalamata. And that was typical of what you find there, so we carry those oils as well. And some of the oils are very buttery. Some of them have a big pepper finish on them. Some of them have kind of a banana flavor to them. So just like a sommelier in the wine industry, there's professional people that taste the olive oil. They're called savants.
Yes.
Savants.
Savants.
That's Debbie, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
Say hello to Debbie.
That's the manager.
Are you a savant, Debbie?
No.
It's very hard to become a savant.
Yes, it is very difficult. I've had classes from our savants, and I've tasted, and I'm okay. I just don't have the natural. I don't have a good enough nose for it to really become a professional savant. Because you have most of the olive oil is tasting it or smelling up front before you even taste it. Yeah. So
I've been doing it wrong all these years.
no. Taste
I'm kind of a savant too. It's a different term.
That's right. So when you taste olive oil, what you want to do is we hold the cup in our hand, let it warm up, and then you smell it. You want that heat from your hand warms that oil up, releases the aromas, and that way you can you smell it first, and then you put it put some on your tongue, and then you kind of suck it and draw that air across your
They did that with coffee too. You want to sip it real quick.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
Hold on. I got to ask you a question.
Yes.
So the neophyte who comes in and says, "Oh, this is great," and doesn't first smell it and take in the aroma,
You're missing some of the experience.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. What I'm selling here is more than just the olive oil. I'm selling the experience. When you buy this bottle, I want you to remember the store. That, you had you were able to come in, you're going to taste it. Hopefully we give you good service, customer service. We explain to you what the oil is all about. We explain where it came from. And you had a good time being here. So I'm selling the experience. And that's why our sign in the front window says an olive oil tasting experience. So that's what I'm after. I'm after the event of being here. So every time you use that, use this bottle of oil, you go back home, you've got a memory of Geneva, of a good time you had here.
Now, does this shirt add to the experience?
I think so.
I think so.
I enjoy it.
It's awesome. So all these fustuses, is it fusti for plural?
Perhaps. But that's the Italians.
But you import this equipment.
Yes, I do.
And why? What makes this equipment so unique in terms of housing the oil?
Good question. It does a lot of things. 3 things break down olive oil: air, sunlight, and heat. So that's why I have vinegars in the front window, by the way. Obviously, being stainless steel, it doesn't have any effect on the flavor of the oil. Like plastic or something else would or tin would flavor. So the stainless steel doesn't flavor the oil. It doesn't allow the sunlight to come in, which would deteriorate the olive oil. So that and we. And
That's why
it's airtight. You got an airtight seal at the top.
Okay.
So I don't want air to get inside of that oils either. So that's the reason we have them, is because of inert metal that we have airtight and keep the sun out.
Sure.
So that's why we show it in these tanks.
And they last forever, I assume.
They do. They do. So once you come in, we have this whole row here is all of our unflavored extra virgin olive oils. We have them located from the most delicate to the most robust, and we have them rated, from delicate to robust. And this was professionally sampled by our staff at all 3 stores. We tell you where it came from. We tell you a little bit about what to expect, what kind of flavor you would expect to find from that olive oil. And I give you a heat index. The heat index is a pepper. Olives have a naturally occurring chemical called polyphenols. Yes. If you taste olive oil, you get a little tickle after you taste it. And you suck in the air, you get a little tickle in the back of your throat. That's the polyphenols. So I rate how much. We tell you how much heat, how much that little tickle you would expect to find in that olive oil when you taste it. And then also we rate it by a complexity score. And this is all done, this is what professional savants do. And the complexity score is how much how much oil changes when you first taste it, as to when you're all done tasting it, that lingering flavor, how long does it go on, and how much does it change as you go. So that's how we rate our olive oil. So we give you a good example, of what to expect, and uses for it with our signage, and then you can taste it after that. And to taste it, you simply
watch this savant do this.
Yeah, put some in the cup.
And it's a very little amount.
Yeah, just hold it in your hand. Professional savants, they carry a blue crucible, like a shot glass around on a leather strap around their necks, and it hangs right here next to their heart, next to on their chest. Warms that. So it warms that crucible up. So when they go to get that next sample, it's already preheated a little bit. Okay. So
really?
Yeah, and then the reason it's blue crucible is because the color of the olive oil has no effect whatsoever on the flavor of the olive oil. So they don't want that. They don't want somebody visually looking at it and getting a preconceived idea of what that olive oil, if that olive oil is any good or not, because it has no effect. The color has no effect on the olive oil whatsoever. So then
I'm going to watch the professional here.
it's best if you close your eyes so you can just kind of concentrate. Once you smell it, and like quite often they're going to have that green tomato smell or something, but then you just.
I had never known that. That's amazing.
And then, like this one didn't make me cough, so that, and that's because it is one of the most delicate ones. If I did this on one of those aisles down there, I'd be coughing.
Well, I was going to ask you that. So if you do cough, that's not a sign of, I don't like it.
No,
that's a sign of the power of the olive oil.
It's and the phenols. That's the antioxidant in the oil. So actually, the higher the phenols count, the more antioxidants it has. Now, sometimes you want that flavor, and sometimes you don't. Because if you're frying egg in it, you don't want that olive oil in that egg. You want a more delicate oil. Sometimes you want that flavor to come through in a pasta or something where you want the extra olive oil to show through. You want a more robust oil.
Got it. So I've heard some people say a dose a morning is good. Have you heard that?
I'm sure it is. I mean, olive oil is. I was
the antioxidants and what have you.
Yeah, you're right. Olive oil. Your body needs fats, and olive oil is a good fat. So it's got the phenols. There's an anti-inflammatory component to it, which is good. It's good for your heart, because it's a unsaturated fat. So it's the good fats that your body needs.
Stuff.
So basically, I don't need a shot, first thing of the day, but you just need to use a good oil, a good oil for you, for all your things. So, for all your cooking.
We're so accustomed to, whatever.
Or go grab that stick of butter, which butter tastes great, but it's not as healthy as the oil. So many times you can substitute olive oil for butter. When you're cooking, or even put some on your toast in the morning. There's a lot of things you can substitute the good fats for the bad fats.
Got it.
And but don't get me wrong, I love a good stick of butter too. But there's anytime we can substitute.
We're doing a business beat at the butter store next.
All right, all right.
That was cool.
Yeah.
So now I feel inadequate next time I taste olive oil.
Yeah. No. So what we have, besides we have 6 extra virgin olive oils, single varietals in tanks, and we have a few more that are just in pre-bottled.
The extra virgin is right off the press.
Right off the press.
Got it.
It's without using heat or anything. All the rest of these are flavored olive oils.
Okay.
And what we do is, many cases, I try to get I have the producer actually crush either the herbs or the citrus with the olives. So you get you're getting oil from the rind, like for the lemon or the orange or the lime.
Sure.
You get the oil from the rind right in with the oil. That's what gives it the flavor.
Now, is that a special request that you make?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it is.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Which, of course, your customers have demanded.
Right.
Got it.
Instead of just adding the flavor into it,
Yeah.
I like to have them crushed with the herbs and the fruit with the olives.
Interesting.
Some of these they have to add a flavor into, because they don't want to put they don't want to run the garlic through their machine, because it taints their machine. They can't get out. So they add they're actually adding garlic oil with the olive oil to get that garlic flavored oil.
Interesting.
Or the chili peppers, that would taint their machine as well. So, but as often as I can, I get them to crush. Actually use the herbs and the fruit with it. So as opposed to just using a flavoring. One of my importers owns the groves in Argentina. So he's the one that deals with getting it from Argentina up to here. He's bought farms down there. He's sitting on a huge aquifer down there. And he's the one that brings the olive oil up here, and the suppliers here in the Chicagoland area.
So that relationship with the farmer again is so real.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's fascinating.
Yeah, but Lake Zurich, he lives in Lake Zurich, and but he owns the vineyards owns the orchards down there in Argentina, and I get it from him. So he's the one bringing it up.
Okay.
So that's how I'm able to do that.
Fascinating.
Yeah, because trying to import is tough to do, especially being a food thing. This olive oil from Greece, I do import that straight from the farmer, and we go through lots of pains, through customs and everything else to get it here.
Right.
It's difficult to do.
So you make the call today, hypothetically.
Mm-hmm.
How long does it take from the call and the request to delivery?
Well, I wait to make that call until they're pressing it. So I'll make that call in November. We'll wire the money over to the bank in Greece. And roughly 6 weeks later, it's here.
Wow.
So by the time they take it to Antwerp, Belgium, it goes up to Montreal, and then it gets trucked in from Montreal to Chicago, goes through customs, and it gets trucked out to here. We're talking roughly 6 weeks. So I'll have that new oil usually, like I said, it's crushed in December. I'll usually have it right around March.
Well, that's fascinating.
Because they let it settle. They let it settle for a while because our oils are unfiltered. So they let some of the solids from the oil settle to the bottom, and then you take the oil off the top, and that's usually about a 1 month process. So after they press it, it's usually a month before they'll put it in a tank and send it over.
I had no idea.
So I bring it over in a big 4-foot tote, one of those big plastic totes, 4 foot by 4 foot, in those wire frames.
Of course.
And then I have it shipped up to a supplier in Lake Zurich, and she puts it in containers where I can handle it. The Argentina person puts it, packages it for me.
Sure.
So that's how
Amazing.
That's how we handle that.
That's really cool. So in this December, I know that you're making your calls and your orders.
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Same thing, with California. That's when they're crushing out there. But California oils, I'll have the fresh California oils in about the end of February. Because obviously I get them here in 5 days.
Yeah, right.
Like I got a load coming that's on the road right now from California that I had ordered last week, and it'll be here, early
Okay,
next
strange
week.
question. Is it shipped over the road refrigerator or air temperature?
air temperature.
Okay. So you don't
Unfortunately,
want to affect, or is
I
that?
don't. I like, and I'm careful about. I watch the weather when we order it. If I know it's going to be a lot, if it's going to be a hot, a hot week or something, I'll purposely postpone my order. So I don't want it being shipped during real hot weather. So I do watch the weather because it is air temperature. And then when I get it in, I store it in a temperature controlled. I have a storage unit, and it's temperature controlled, so I have more supply here than what I can have in the back room.
Okay.
And that's all temperature controlled and dark.
There's a lot of science and.
Yeah, there is. To make sure I'm getting you a good product, I have to be careful. I have to watch that chain, from the very beginning all the way to the time it comes to your bottle. And then our bottles are, I've got them colored, to help keep out some of the sunlight. And so that's the reason we have it. That's the reason we have it colored, and that's the reason we have a cork that keeps the air out. So, like I said, 3 things break down olive oil: air, sunlight, and heat. So it's best to store it just on in a pantry or in the cabinet somewhere. Don't put it on the counter because the sunlight will get to it. And don't refrigerate it unless you're going to be gone go to Florida for 6 months or something like that. If you refrigerate olive oil, it gets a consistency of butter. It gets really hard and won't come out of the bottle.
Do you sell straws?
You're right. That would work.
That would work.
So in the process, when it comes to room temperature, it will thaw back out where you can pour it. But that process can in and out of the refrigerator, get condensation in there, and the water will cause the oil to go rancid. So you don't want it. But if you're going to be gone you're going to go to Florida for 6 months, if this winter when you go to Florida, you can put your olive oil in the refrigerator, and then when you come back next spring, you can take it out, and that will frozen. That will keep it from aging while you're gone.
But don't freeze it. Just put it in the refrigerator.
Just put it in the refrigerator.
Okay.
Yep, it will get hard like butter on its own. Is at refrigerator temperature.
Wow.
And if it's extra virgin olive oil, it will turn hard like butter. If it's not extra virgin olive oil or some adulterated oil, it will not turn hard. Olive oil is one of the few oils that will solidify in a refrigerator.
So you know whether you got the good stuff.
That's one way to tell them if you got the good stuff or not.
12 years ago, you began this business.
Mm-hmm.
And I would assume you were the first to do so.
We believe we're the first ones to stay long.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And once again, that's my wife, not me. She came up with the idea. Since then, there's been a lot of people come in and have copied us, which is fine.
Sure.
It's a free country. They get to have their business.
Imitation's the greatest form of
That's what we keep saying.
Yeah.
Every day we keep saying that to ourselves. But so what we do focus on is I really watch that source, and we really worry about customer service so you have a good time coming in. And what the rest of the people do is, have at it. They can have fun, and we're having a great time doing it from here. And just doing it our way, and just trying to provide you with good product and good service.
Well, a dozen years, clearly it's working.
That's what.
That's amazing.
That's the plan.
Tell everyone tuning in, and there are millions, where you're located, your website, phone number, and where to get that shirt.
Okay. We're at 315 James Street here in Geneva. The website is the olivemillgeneva.com. And the shirt, I get all these shirts from a place up in Door County, Wisconsin called On Deck.
Oh, well done. And what's the phone number here at the office?
630-262-0210.
0210.
0210.
So we've learned lots of big words today.
I hope so.
Fustus.
Fusties. Mm-hmm.
Polyphenols.
Arbequina.
Corniki.
Corniki. Yeah.
But of all those words combined, what really is important is
the olive mill.
Thank you for your hospitality.
Thank you so much for coming.
It's been a while. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Live from the Olive Mill.